Aarav never believed in love at first sight. He believed in control, logic, and distance. As a successful photographer living in a quiet coastal city, he preferred moments captured through a lens rather than lived with his heart. People came and went, smiles faded, promises broke, and Aarav learned long ago not to expect too much. Until Elena walked into his life. She arrived on a rainy afternoon, standing under the old cafe's awning, her hair damp, her eyes searching the street like she was looking for something she had lost. Aarav noticed her without trying. There was something about the way she stood, calm, yet guarded, like someone who had learned to be strong alone. Their first meeting was simple. She dropped her notebook. He picked it up. Their fingers brushed. For a moment, the world paused. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice warm but careful. Aarav nodded, unable to find the right words. He watched her walk away, unaware that something inside him had shifted. A slow fire. They met again, days later, and again. The city was small. Destiny was patient. Elena was a writer, new to the city, chasing silence so she could hear her own thoughts again. Aarav never asked what she was running from. Some questions didn't need answers yet. They began with conversations, long ones, about dreams, about fear, about the quiet ache of loneliness. Aarav noticed how Elena listened, really listened, as if every word mattered. Elena noticed how Aarav looked at the world, finding beauty in broken places. Their connection grew slowly, like a flame, learning how to burn without destroying. Yet both were afraid. Aarav feared losing control. Elena feared losing herself, so they stayed on the edge, close enough to feel the heat, far enough to avoid getting burned. The night, everything changed. One evening, Aarav invited Elena to his studio. The walls were filled with photographs, love, pain, joy, heartbreak, frozen moments of human truth. Elena stood in front of one photograph longer than the others. It was a woman, smiling through tears. "She looks like she's in love," Elena whispered. Aarav swallowed. She was. "Were you?" He didn't answer. Instead, he turned to Elena, really looked at her, and saw the same courage and vulnerability in her eyes. Silence wrapped around them, the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. "I'm scared," Elena admitted, her voice barely audible. "So am I," Aarav said. Their hands found each other naturally, like they had always belonged there. No rush, no force, just closeness, warm, electric, real. That night, nothing dramatic happened, but everything changed. Love. Without walls. From that moment, they stopped pretending. They walked together along the beach at sunrise. They shared coffee at midnight. They learned each other's silences. Aarav began photographing Elena, not as a subject, but as a feeling. Every picture told a story of trust, strength, and love, growing quietly but powerfully. Elena began writing again, stories filled with hope instead of fear. Their love wasn't loud, it was deep. It was the kind of love that doesn't need promises spoken aloud, because it shows itself in actions, patience, and understanding. Yet love always tests hearts. The fear of losing. One day, Elena received an offer to publish her book, but it required her to leave the city. The news hung between them like a storm cloud. "You should go," Aarav said, forcing a smile. Elena's eyes filled with emotion. "And you?" Aarav looked away. "I don't want to be the reason you stay." She stepped closer, her voice shaking. "And I don't want to be the reason you push me away." That night, they argued for the first time, not out of anger, but fear. The fear of loving too deeply and losing everything. Elena left before sunrise. Aarav watched the city feel empty again. Love always finds its way. Back, months passed. Aarav stopped taking photographs. Elena stopped writing. Success meant nothing without love. One evening, as Aarav walked into the old cafe, he saw her. Elena stood there, stronger, glowing, real. "I couldn't write without you," she said. "I couldn't live without you," he replied. They didn't need explanations anymore. Love had already spoken. Forever begins. Quietly, their reunion wasn't dramatic. It was gentle, honest, certain. They didn't promise forever. They chose it, every single day. And in that quiet coastal city, two guarded hearts learned that real love isn't about heat alone. It's about trust, passion, patience, and staying when leaving feels easier.